Hello, everyone. Like many of you out there, I was not concerned about voting processes or politics in general until the last 2 years. Now, I've realized something really concerning. So the big question is, can the AEC actually prevent people from voting more than once in the same electorate? The simple answer is not really. So basically what happens is, let's say there are 10,000 people in one electorate. Every polling booth gets the same piece of paper with a list of those 10,000 names. So in theory, someone could attempt to actually vote more than once in the same electorate. On that note, they could even attempt to vote under someone else's name because you do not have to show ID, which I'm going to talk about later. So how can we prevent this? Well, we are going to do our best. The good news is there is cameras at most of these locations. So the schools, the scout centers and so forth, and the churches that they do the polling at usually have cameras. So it is possible to catch someone out. Secondly, all the papers are scanned and notarized and put into, online processes after the election. So if there is a tick next to the same name 10 times, for example, it could create some sort of inquiry. However, it would be his word against her word, because how can you prove who ticked the right vote and who didn't? Now, if there was enough of these discrepancies in one electorate, you would hope that that electorate would do a recount, but we cannot guarantee that. And we have no way of monitoring if that happens in an electorate, etc. It's really a terrible system. The best thing they've come up with is when someone goes to vote, they ask them their name, they tick it, and then they say, have you voted already? And the person says yes or no. So it's basically an honesty system. So our democracy is depending on an honesty system, which is a real big concern. Now, to the people out there that are considering doing something as shady as this, don't do it because it's dishonest. And also there are cameras, and also we have volunteers, thousands of volunteers around the country who will be at polling booths keeping an eye out for people like you. Now, if you are a volunteer at a polling booth, if you do see some fishy behavior, either carfuls of people, busfuls of people, vans full of people who seem to be on a mission and look like they've done this before, report it to the returning officer, and so that we can keep these people accountable. That is the best thing we can do at this stage, unfortunately. I would also like to say that RDA plans on lobbying to change this system because it really is ridiculous. With all the technology available to us today, we could have a live Google spreadsheet that is connected to all the polling booths in one electorate, so that when someone has already voted, it is marked off and every electorate can see it in live time. I could literally organize that for the AEC if they wanted. That's how easy it would be. And I also think it's ridiculous that not too long ago, we had to show our medical papers to go to a cafe. We had to show permits and ID to cross a border or even leave our 5-kilometer radius. But they don't think it's important enough to show our ID to vote. I would be absolutely fine with showing my ID to vote. So the system needs to change, and RDA is going to lobby to do so. If you would like to sign the petition so that after the election, especially if good parliamentarians get in, RDA can lobby to change this system, because I want to make sure that the next election does not have this type of system, because it really is a dinosaur system and it needs to change. I'm pretty sure you would have no problem showing your ID to vote, because it would give you confidence that everyone else is also having to show their ID. There are other systems in other countries where you actually dip your finger into an ink solution and it lasts 2 weeks, and that's how people know that you've already voted. So other countries have done even a better job than Australia with this. So don't worry, guys, because we're going to keep our eyes peeled, and there are cameras, so don't worry. We're going to do our best, but I wanted to bring it to your attention, and I just also want you to realize that this is something worth lobbying for, because we need to change it for the next election. We obviously won't be able to change it in time for the Victorian election, because with the Daniel Andrews government, I'm pretty sure he doesn't want too many checks and balances in his election, but we will definitely start lobbying the federal members of parliament straight after the election if we get enough signatures on the petition. So the link is in the description of this video. On that, there was actually, I will link this article in the description as well. 1 year, there was, over 900 dead people who voted. 900 dead people voted. So it's a real concern that these types of things can happen, and we need to be aware of it and do what we can to stop it, and also lobby to change it. So that's it from me, guys. Keep your eyes peeled, and let's keep people honest.
Authorised by Monica Smith, Reignite Democracy Australia, Melbourne.